Welcome to E4 Electric, your #1 source for what's happening now in the world of electric cars. Today I'm going to reveal which car I believe is going to be the newcomer of the year in the electric car universe, and this is part of our first annual Ewards, and I'm going to start right now. For those of you who are watching this video and this channel for the first time, welcome. If you're interested in staying up to date with what's happening in the world of electric cars, you came to the right place. Please consider subscribing so you can become a part of this community. All right, let's get going. And this is probably one of my most favorite categories in this whole Ewards show that I'm doing. And by the way, if you want to see all of the other videos, the link is down below in the description of this video, because there are so many new things happening and already been happening this year, and there will be more and more of them happening next year. So let's talk about some cars that are going to be coming out on the market. These are not concept cars. These are the cars that are going to be actually being manufactured next year. And so my first nominee is a NIO ES8. This is a car that I've been not on my radar. And I think a lot of people haven't been talking about this car in a while. It kind of snuck up on us. Again, they had some success a few years back. But now they've announced that this car is going to be produced limited to China, but it's a good-looking SUV. It has a pretty decent range, about 220 miles, though it's not EPA rated, but that's what they're claiming. So decent range. But most importantly, it is their pricing that is impressive. It's going to start at about 57,000 American dollars after the incentives in China, which is a very competitive price compared to Tesla Model X that in China is very expensive because of their tariff. And also, you don't even have to buy this car with a battery. You can pay only 42,000 American dollars and you'll get this car without the battery, and you will lease the battery at about $200 per month, which I actually think is something that Tesla should have done a long time ago. I know they've tried it and they've kind of decided not to go with it. Renault Zoe has been doing it for a while now in Europe. But the biggest concern that people have with electric cars is longevity of the battery and what happens when the technology moves forward in a few years. You know, their car will be kind of obsolete. And this solves that problem because a battery is no longer your problem. You know, if you want a longer range when it's available and you can afford it, boom, you just rent a different battery. If you believe your battery is degrading, then that will be replaced. It's not your problem. It's the problem of the company that's leasing it to you. So that is a big deal. It lowers the price of the car and it gives a peace of mind and a choice to the consumer. So I think this is really, really good. And also they are going to roll out a fleet of charging trucks that will come over to your office, to your home or whatever, and they'll charge your NIO right there on the spot. So I think this is a really, really good solution for charging problems and questions that people have. The only downside is, of course, this car is going to be limited to Chinese market for now. All right, let's move on to the second nominee, and this is a car that I've been considering, which is a Jaguar I-Pace. It's also coming out in 2018, and it has a pretty decent range as well, 220 miles. That's what they're claiming. They just presented their prototypes once again in LA Auto Show, and they're saying there are more than 200 prototypes around the world that they're testing under different conditions, on the different roads. They came up with this cool video where they let their first reservation holders test drive the car, and they got it on tape. And you know, this is an established car maker. Their car looks good. They obviously have an infrastructure for sales, for support, for customer service, and so forth. So this looks pretty promising. Of course, there is no dedicated charging network to these cars, so that is a bit of a problem. But for example, me, who has 2 Teslas, I might consider this car as a replacement for one of them, but I'll still keep my Tesla Model S for the longer trips because of the supercharging network, and it still will be a better car. Now, Jaguar just announced that this car will start at $76,000, which is pretty competitive, and I know we're still keeping our tax incentives here in America, and their tax and rebate incentives all over the world. I kind of thought they should have come in under 70 to be more competitive because it is a smaller car than the Model X with less features. But I think that's still acceptable. So definitely Jaguar I-Pace is going to be a good competitor and a good choice for all of us consumers on the market coming in next year. All right, let's move on to the third nominee, and it's a Porsche Mission E. Now this is you're looking at the prototype right now. The real thing is not going to look pretty much anywhere near that. It's going to look more like Panamera, which is still a pretty good look. The range is pretty impressive as well, about 310 miles, but it will probably start in late 80s, almost closer to $90,000, which I think is going to be tough on those people who, like, for example, driving Model S, because they could afford $70,000, maybe $80,000. But you know, when we're talking about $90,000 or so on the starting price, then that's where a lot of people just kind of go, okay, I'm out. That's not for me. But it is an established company. The range is impressive. They have their own following. Obviously, they have their own service centers, their salespeople, and so forth, their factories. So they're not going to have any of the financial issues. So it is a competitor. It is going to be competitive to Tesla Model S. And not something that I'm going to be looking at anytime soon, but it's definitely going to turn some heads and give Tesla a run for their money for sure. All right, and the fourth one is Audi E-Tron Quattro. This is SUV from Audi. It kind of snuck up on me for sure. I don't know how about you guys, but it's going to have an impressive 311-mile range. Again, that's what they're claiming. SUVs are in demand. Again, established company, Audi, with their own following, service centers, factories, infrastructure, and so forth. Of course, also no answer to the supercharger network that Tesla has. So Tesla will have the advantage there. But it's going on sale in 2018. They are pricing it, I believe, also around $70,000+, which is competitive. And just like I said, it's a good looking car. I think it will definitely give Tesla the run for their money. All right, guys. So these are the nominees. And before I announce the winner, who's going to be the newcomer of the year, let me remind you that this show and this channel is sponsored by Evanex, the aftermarket accessory maker. And if you want to shop there, the link is down below. But most importantly, so is the discount code. You guys can get a bit of a discount when you shop there. So check it out. All right, without further ado, let's find out who the newcomer of the year is. And it is NIO ES8. Yeah, guys, I have to say that, you know, even though I haven't even been thinking about this car at all until the last few weeks, the fact that they're priced so amazingly well, pretty much half, if you will, of the Model X. The fact that their answer to charging, to the fast charging, is battery swap and battery leasing I think is the way to go. I've always supported that technology over just charging. The fact that they have charging vans that will come to you, like we have here in the United States. I'm sure in Europe also there are, you know, big trucks driving around here, especially on these big computer company campuses, and just charging your car. You can order it with your app and you can be in the meeting and your car is being fueled. That's what they're going to be offering. That's another great solution there. And of course, the price is really good and it looks good. It's got some self-driving technologies, decent range. The only problem, problem for them is that it's only going to be available in China, though I feel like if they're going to master this in China, they will be able to roll it out really quickly in the rest of the world. Especially, they'll have no problems getting finance from their backers. You know, Chinese investments right now are really hot in the electric car market. So I believe, you know, this is the biggest newcomer and the biggest competitor really to Tesla, but to everybody, but for now in China. But as far as the impressive technology, as far as figuring out the answer for the charging, I believe newcomer of the year is NIO ES8, and I'm looking forward to this car being sold and not seeing it, but at least seeing a footage and hearing from customers who actually get to drive them every day. All right, guys, if you are interested in seeing all of the E-Awards categories, the list of all of them down below in the description of this video, except for one. The sexiest feature of the year in electric cars is only available for my Patreons, for those who support my channel. The link is down below. I would love for you guys to join. You get some exclusive reporting, exclusive material, behind the scene footage, a bunch of other things. And for example, this time around, the Patreons got to vote for the category that they want to just keep it for themselves, not available on YouTube. And that's what is available right now, the sexiest feature of the year. All right, guys, that is it for me. I thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. And remember to stay charged.